Hutch have released the 6 best epic car parts so far. We're jumping in straight in to have a look what that might look like. We've crunched the numbers, or added them up as you might want to say, to see what that does in fact total for our car. So let's jump straight in it. Make sure you stick around because we're going to compare a hell of a lot. So before we get to the full car setup that they have released, let's kick in to the first of 6 parts. So let's take a look at Vindicator, replaced by Typhoon for the 2023 season, and let's compare some of the stats and see if we can make up what is going to happen. So first of all, you would think that speed is actually aero. So we've got a max of 50 on the right, whereas aero is fairly low at 70. So we're only capped quite low in terms of the current component stats. Now looking at it, so yeah, speed looks like aero. The rest could be anything. It looks like power could be power unit, cornering will be grip, and obviously reliability will in fact, shock, be reliability. But it looks like at the moment these are the changes that have been made, and it looks like a cap of 50, which is the replacement for Vindicator to Typhoon. Suspension has been changed ever so slightly too. It's been flipped around first of all in the picture. So it was Flow in 2022. It's now Sigma in 2023. So speed is obviously up 32. We've got power unit 30, cornering 28, and reliability 29. So all again capped at 50 by the look of it, because they're all over halfway. And just having a brief then, aero and speed looks pretty much the same. Grip and cornering looks the same. And power unit is not too far off. So it could go either way. They might mix and match with how they do it. We're only assuming at the moment, and you at home can comment below which one do you think matches up to which one as well. But looks fairly similar for the Flow and the Sigma replacement. Up next we have our brakes. So True Grit looking a bit sharper, a bit modernised on the right. Just a little bit visually is replaced by ONYX. And looking at the stats again, so last season they were pretty much the same, but this time we've got less reliability. It's capped at 50, which is the max level. And then looking at the rest of them, 26, 23 and 25. And it's still pretty consistent like it was last year, but a bit of an increase in the top 3 stats. I am probably keen to raise caution that these are obviously individual component stats. And on the left, you can see it shows you out of your total car. So this could be that the fact that they are going to show us the car part itself, or it might change to more of the left side when we start to put it against an actual car. So it'd be interesting to see that change. But at the minute, each individual part capped at 50, and we'll see what happens when we do place it to cars. Next up, we have GEARBOX, Flux of Series 12 in 2022, replaced by VOYAGE or Voyage, whichever way you want to say, depending on how posh you are. And that is replaced in 2023. So last season, it had fairly standard stats over the whole thing, 22, 23, 23, 22. This season, we see a bit more cornering go in, so at 28. And some reliability at 27. Be interesting to see if this part is usable. Now, I know a lot of you out there do use this part, Flux, in 2022, but this baby was the go-to part in 2022. So Mirage was better than Flux. So it'd be interesting to see this season if Voyage or Voyage is the best part for your gearbox, or it will in fact be a Mirage replacement, but we still await the release of such item. Our 5th part then was Leviathan, and that was power 70, aero 23, grip 24, reliability 22. And then we have the replacement of Cloud Roar this season, 2023, and we've got speed 26, 24 cornering. This is why I think power links to power unit, as it's 50 capped for Cloud Roar. And we've got reliability down at 27. So a few more increase in stats, but we are losing a lot of power as it only caps to 50. So what we'll do for the total stats will be interesting for all parts. Will we get lower stats? Will we get higher? Will it even matter? Because it's all going to balance out in the end. We shall await and see. And then we have the front wing. So Hydra in 2022 replaced by Virtue in 2023. Looking a nice new enhanced design on that as well. Another Series 11 part. And let's compare again. So cornering is very high like grip was last year. Power unit 27 this year against a 24 of power. Aero similar to speed, so it's a very similar part, quicker on pick time as well. So it actually looks as overall fairly similar stats on most parts, but a new enhanced look as well. Obviously we've got power unit, would be interesting to see how that works, if it is just a name change or it is actually something that affects the power unit in the game. So what does it mean and how does it look overall? Here is what your 2023 best setup could look like if these parts were your best parts available. So here we have it then, 2023, and obviously we've got lower scores as you can see on the bottom right hand corner, but the important thing to note is they are all at 180. So 180 seems the cap this season coming up, and interestingly with the new flux, let's call it, for our gearbox, definitely looks like that will become the better part. So last year we had Mirage as the better part. This year it looks like it is going to be a return of the Flux replacement. So this setup here, at the moment, by the way it looks, all giving us 180 across the board. So this is what it will potentially look like for anyone who gets to the end of the game. It's took me a lot of time to put this together, a lot of messing around as well, a bit of fun, but these are my assumptions on what it's going to be. I've added all the numbers up for the parts as well, so they should be correct. So it's going to be interesting on how it works out. Remember, 9th of May, F1 Clash 2023 becomes available to us F1 Clash players. Let me know down below what you think.